Yeah, I'm just excited about, my new transformation right now and how focused I am. I'm excited about it because out of all this focus thing that I'm doing right now, it's gonna be some real good positive results, real good progressive results instead of degressive. That we don't want to do. But yeah, and today is September the 30th, 2021, at 12:19 a.m. I was watching something else earlier about fear, and the reasons why I'm speaking about fear because of what they was talking about it within that video, and I'm like, I'm not fearful. You can tell yourself anything, but if something going on within, that's what's gonna show without. So I always talk about the internal and the external world because the internal, is really the real you. What's going on? Even though you try to hide it, you gonna feel that shit, whatever going on. But yeah, I said I was gonna start doing these video diaries so I can start working on my speech on a consistent base. And I once said too that I'm not I'm not a poor speaker. It's just that I have to, you know, steadily continue to speak and, you know, just like I said, be the best that I can be at whatever I'm doing at that moment. And that's all I'm gonna be doing. Excuse me. But I'm gonna wrap this up because it's gonna be 6 minutes, and I didn't want it to be too long because it's gonna come a time when I might have to do like a 20-minute video or something like that, and I do want the space. And that's another thing. I told myself I gotta get me a printer again. Not gonna go into that, but I also need a laptop and a desktop. So it's so much stuff that I had to invest in this moment in my life, and I will. But anywho, I am going to get off this video and continue to watch Grant Cardone. Beautiful days, mwah, beautiful days ahead of me, and I can't stop saying excited. It's just because I am, because I'm really doing it this time, and I said I was, and I'm doing it. But anywho, bye boy. He said, to be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. When I discovered what a paradigm was, it was back in 2016. Do any of you know what a paradigm is? How about this? Do any of you understand how the mind works? Because the paradigm has something to do with the mind. At this time, I would like to introduce to you guys an idea. And what I'm going to show you is, without question, the most powerful idea I've ever learned. But here's the thing. If you don't catch on to this idea, the odds of you making great changes will be very, very slim. I want you to look at the mind and then look at paradigms. But we're going to personalize it. We'll be looking at your mind and your paradigm. Okay, let's make this drawing a representation of your mind. There's the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body. Now, the conscious mind is the thinking mind. Let me ask you something. Did you know that the average person does not think? Do you know that a lot of people confuse mental activity with thinking? And that's not thinking at all. If you was to listen to what most people are saying, they would never say the things that they are saying. Watch their behavior. They'll never do what they were doing if they were thinking. At this moment, I would like to share with you guys something that Dr. Lawrence Rampel said back in 1981. He said, thinking is a skill which can be learned just as we learn skills such as typing and playing the piano. Few public schools offer courses devoted expressly to teaching thinking. Rather, we are expected to learn and teach thinking as a byproduct of learning mathematics, reading, history, science, and a trade, and so forth. Yet we do learn a lot about thinking in that way. The trouble is we learn our thinking skills in bits and pieces, and we never put it together as an overall picture. If asked to describe what's required in order to think effectively, most of us would be at loss to give a complete account. Thus, we are unable to assess our own thinking skills or systematically teach the skills of thinking to others. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know I mentioned it earlier that thinking was a skill. We have to train ourselves to think, and the only way that we can train ourselves to think is to really know who we are. And when we know who we are, we can distinguish, other people's ideals that are influencing us based upon what we know about ourselves. But back to the matter at hand. Now we're going to be talking about the conscious mind. Well, it's with your conscious mind you think. This is also what we call the educated mind. This is where our intellect is resident, and it is the intellectual factors that give you the ability to be the creative ability. As the Bible says, we are created in God's image, right? Right. Well, that's where the creative faculties comes in. In our intellectual faculties, you have perceptions, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuitive abilities. All right, here we dive a little deeper into what be going on into the subconscious mind. But before we go into what happens within the subconscious mind, let me elaborate a little deeper on the conscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is quite different from the conscious mind. That's what we call the emotional mind. See, the conscious mind can think, so therefore you have the ability to choose. You can literally choose wherever you want to go in your life. But the thing is, people make choices based upon their unconscious. But guess what? It's still a choice. But you do have the ability here to accept or reject information within the conscious mind. You can accept or reject. When we see something come on the news about the economy, you can say to yourself, that may be happening for them, but it's not going to happen for me. You got the ability to reject information. Somebody might start to tell you, a sad story or something that you just don't want to listen to. You can reject it. You have the choice of rejecting something or accepting something within your conscious mind. Okay, at this moment, you have the ability to accept or reject in your conscious mind. I want to say I said in this moment because a lot of people, when you watch stuff on TV and stuff like that, when you see stuff outside, you have the ability to accept or reject. But a lot of people, they will stare at it. They will, get emotional about it because, they'll be like, I can't believe this happened. But anyway, it's still up to you. Whenever you give your observation towards something, that's you right there saying that, oh, okay, I want to look at this. I want to process it. I want to analyze it. But you do have a choice. You do not have to do that. You are the one accepting stuff based upon your observation. You can turn away from it. Or you can, I keep saying this over and over again because remember what I said earlier about repetition, to make sure the subconscious mind can understand what I am telling you. Now, your subconscious mind has no ability to reject it. It must accept. Now, check this out. Whatever is placed in your subconscious mind is going to dictate your reality, how you manifesting things into your reality. When something is placed within your subconscious mind, it does determine how you are going to make your decision. So that's why you have to be careful about what you observe and what you allow to program you. And your imagination or your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between what you imagine and what is real. So if you imagine something happen and you get emotionally involved, it actually starts to happen. Y'all don't know, like, if you sit there and think about something that happened in your childhood right now within this moment, and it was something that's so traumatizing to you, it will bring up some type of emotion right now, even though it happened 10 or 12 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago, or however many years ago. It will make, if you think about it, it's going to feel like it's happening right now. You might even begin to cry because that is what happens when you do that. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between the present, the past, or the future. The subconscious mind can, but the conscious mind can. All right, I've just given you guys the basics about the mind. Now let's look at this. This is you today. Yes, we have here the reasoning mind, which equals the conscious mind, which means to think. When you have your conscious mind, that means you can analyze things in order for you to, I would say, that to decipher. Because when you're dealing with this outer realm, the external realm, you are dealing with some tricky shit. I'm gonna let you know that now. Yeah, a lot of magicians are out there just pulling the veil over a lot of people's eyes. But let me get back to the thing. All right, today we are being bombarded with information in your country's mind from radio, from other people, from TV, and social media. But guess what? You have the ability to say no. You want to know why? Because you have a reasoning factor. You have the ability to think and you can say, I don't need that information and I'm not accepting that. But guess what, y'all? We don't do that. We don't reject. We accept any and everything that comes our way that supposedly supposed to be some information that we can use. And we just think we can use all the information, but that's not true because it's a lot of information and a lot of things that will allow our mind and subconscious mind to get a hold to that really be doing some internal damage to us emotionally. I am here to tell everyone right now, we do have a choice. We do not have to entertain any of those ideas that are being thrown upon us each and every day. Because when we leave our minds wide open, and remember what I said about the subconscious mind, it has no ability to reject, it must accept. Why do you think we just allow any and everything to program us and to influence us? Why y'all think we do that? Well, this is because this is how we've been already programmed. Yep, we've been programmed to think that we need all types of information in order for us to, what they call be informed about what's going on in the world. That's what they say. Oh, you need this information. If you don't get the information, then you're gonna be misinformed, or you're not gonna know what's going on in the world. But guess what, y'all? That's how I live my life. I don't watch news. I don't listen to anybody else. It's got to be something very entertaining and something humorous for me to want to look at it. But if it's something down and low vibing information, I stay away from that because I know I can choose what I allow myself to pay attention to. You know, because these things does affect us internally. It affects how we, our mood be throughout our day, all day. But as y'all can see, when we allow things to enter our minds and program us, this is our paradigm. Can somebody tell me how all this happened? I mean, seriously, tell me how is it that we just go around just willingly, just allowing people to influence us and control our lives, because whatever influence us is controlling our life, whether we are conscious about it or unconscious about it. And this is what we did. We just leave our subconscious mind wide open for any and everything to come in and just use us at their will. Use us however they see fit to use us. And we be so oblivious to it, to the point that we just freely want to do it. We freely do it. And the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen. Are you all still with me? Because I know that this information is worth a whole lot of attention. Don't you guys think so? Why? Because this idea is worth millions to you, because it can cause you to live in a more healthier body. It can cause you to build your own business, as well as cause you to actually think for yourself and stop allowing us to use you as their puppets. Yes, I said it. Let's start thinking, you guys, on a serious tip though. Let's start thinking. And oh, it's something else I would like to bring to you guys' attention. You see this chart right here? Let's say you today got your subconscious mind, your body, radio, other people, TV, social media, and that right there to the right, where it says you as the infant. What's going on here? So, with this chart, what I'm going to be explaining to you is that this is you as an infant, but not today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that y'all have like immature minds or whatever, but we'll probably get to that part. But what I'm saying is, this is you as an actual infant, like, from the day you was born. Infant, okay. And whatever that is happening around you goes right into your subconscious mind. And it just keep going in over and over and over again. See, you have been programmed genetically. That's why you look so much like your relatives. There's a little particle of energy from your mom, and there's a little particle of energy from your dad, which came together, and that was the nucleus of you. And 280 days later, you made your debut on the planet. But you have all that DNA of your mom and your dad. Going back towards many generations, you were genetically programmed. So that's where a lot of your ideas come from, based upon generation of grandma, great grandma, stuff like that. But anyway, it's just been passed down. A lot of our thinking has been passed down based upon, our genetics. So just like I just said, many of your beliefs has been passed down from one generation to the next. And guess what, y'all? Many of these ideas that we have, just willingly accepted, a lot of them are ridiculous. Which leads me to my next point. I think we all know um, what a self image is. A self image is something that you created yourself. A self image is how you accumulated a lot of ideas. You've had a lot of experience, and now you're fully able to, make a assessment of what it is that you would like to be and experience, in your adulthood. That's a self-image. But see, the thing is, as you can see, with the self-image, we have you today, the radio, other people, TV, social media, and you as an infant. So in the middle, we have your self image. You see, we have all these things, you know, they are auditioning for your attention. the things you did as a child, the social media, TV, other people, radio, and then you as the person that you are being or you want to become. All these things are auditioning in your conscious mind as well as your subconscious mind. But see, the thing is, your self-image was formed when you wasn't even fully capable of using your conscious mind. All that happened when you didn't even have the ability to think for yourself. So in actuality, whoever you think you are, it was formed out of you unconsciously believing what others said about you. You freely and willingly allowing, life circumstances and stuff like that, things of your childhood, to dictate who you believe you are this day. That's how your self-image was formed. You didn't create it yourself. You didn't say, okay, I've experienced, I've seen, I've did this, I've did that. Now I can fully make an assessment of what it is that I want to be throughout the remainder of my life. You didn't do that. You just made a judgment based on what other people said and your past experience. And that's not how you create your self-image. You really have to know who you are in order to create that self-image.